Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Prestwich and I'm your Wellbeing, Sport and Physical Activity Officer for 2021. I'm here to discuss guidance around how you and your club can return to play safely. Here at Team Hallam, we have been constantly reviewing government guidelines and national governing body updates to inform the guidance so that you can get back to playing with your team safely. Our goal is to give your club the confidence and understanding to safely and effectively deliver sport through COVID-19. To be able to return safely to play, it is important that everyone is aware of the infectious disease COVID-19 and how this disease can be spread through saliva, coughing, and sneezing. At the moment, there are no vaccine or treatments, but work is being done to find some. Each member of your club should be aware of the symptoms of COVID-19 to be able to determine if they need to quarantine and be tested. If you need to find out more information around COVID-19, then please check out the NHS website. The link is on the slide. We as staff are here to support you by keeping you up to date with relevant information in terms of government guidelines, permitted activity and decisions we make. This is to ensure you are safe to return to play. We will be creating resources to help you in returning to play. You may have already seen the phases. We have created a generic risk assessment. However, your clubs may need to add additional information that is specific to your sport. We are also here for you to ask any questions and provide COVID-19 specific training. However, it is important to mention that at every step, the actions you do are for the safety and protection of others. For you to be able to return to play, it is vitally important that your club committees are aware of 1. The latest government guidelines that supersede national governing body guidelines. 2. Understanding your national governing body's permitted activity. 3. Any changes, amendments to your programmes are discussed with Team Hallam and approved. Due to sports clubs representing the university, there are certain regulations that may mean we cannot do everything that is permitted by the NGB. 4. Briefing your plans to all participants so that they can follow the measures in place, but also be assured about why they exist. Everyone's responsible to ensure the safe delivery of activity. This includes Team Hallam, club committees, coaches and leaders, participants, and spectators. To ensure your safety, it's important that you consider aspects before, during, and after the activity. Let's first discuss the before. It is essential that you appoint a COVID-19 officer as part of your committee. If you already have a health and safety officer, this should be them. If you haven't, this can be somebody else within the club. This person will be the main point of contact for the club and for everything related to COVID-19. They are responsible for ensuring that all measures are put in place and adhered to. There will be training to support this person within the role, as it is of massive importance. If the guidelines are not in place or adhered to, we will be unable to permit activity to take place. Prior to travelling to any form of activity, participants and coaches must conduct COVID-19 self-assessments. If you show any symptoms, you cannot attend any activity and you must inform your club's COVID-19 officer, who will then pass on the details to Team Hallam staff. If you are showing any symptoms, you should get tested immediately and continue to self-isolate until you receive your results and then follow government guidelines on isolation. As a club, prior to delivering an activity, it is important to understand how many people are coming to your session, but also the results of the participants' self-assessments. To help, Team Hallam have created a self-assessment survey bespoke to your club, which can be found on your club's teamhallam.org webpage. You should send this out before your activity, as for someone to attend, it must be completed. The results of the survey will be available in your club's Google Drives, so you can look at them before the session and see who has symptoms, been in contact with whoever has COVID-19 symptoms, travelled via public transport, or works in a high-risk role. Depending on the result, you should follow these steps. If they show symptoms, they should not attend activity and self-isolate following the government guidelines. This information should be then shared with Team Hallam. If they do not show symptoms, however, have been in contact with someone showing symptoms, then it is up to the club if they take part. However, if this individual is from the same household or has been in close contact, then they need to self-isolate with no exceptions. Again, share this information with Team Hallam. Finally, if the individual has travelled via public transport which isn't Team Hallam provided, or they work in a high-risk role like the NHS, then it is up to the club if they take part. Please inform Team Hallam. If there are any cases where you feel unsure about what is best to do, please contact Team Hallam to provide advice. On the arrival to your session, it is important that you collect, track and trace information of the coaches, leaders and participants. To help, Team Hallam have created another survey which can be found as a news article on teamhallam.org. We will also be distributing your QR codes for your clubs to use how you please. It is vital that both the self-assessment and the track and trace information is gathered and recorded at every session to ensure everyone's safety and prevent any spread of the virus. At the start of the session, please carry out a safety briefing to all involved to ensure everyone is aware of the measures in place. It is not necessary to do this before every activity, but as long as you carry this out initially and to all participants, and any changes need to be communicated to coaches and participants. When travelling to and whilst at your venue, it is important that you do the following. Minimise the use of public transport. If it is essential to use, then make sure you wear a face covering. Carpooling should be limited to your household or support bubble. Wear face coverings when travelling in cars not from your household. If your sport is indoor, you must also wear a face covering in communal areas such as receptions. Please be aware that your activity start time may be altered as a result of staggering activities and participants. This is also to avoid congregation before and after sessions within car parks, receptions or other activity areas. Ensure you follow facility access measures, which may include one-way systems. Before your activity starts, you must ensure that all equipment is disinfected. It is important that you let a Team Hallam staff member know what equipment you need to clean, as we are providing the resources. Also, you need to wash or sanitize your hands before you do this. Access to changing rooms may be inaccessible or limited. However, this depends on each facility. Please turn up in kit required to start your activity. Toilets will be accessible, but again, this will be on a limited capacity. Participants must bring and use their own drinks and store their bag and item in a socially distanced area. For indoor sports, there will be sanitizer provided as part of the facility. For outdoor sports, you will need to inform your SDG leads for us to provide hand sanitizer. Everyone should use hand sanitizer at each individual session. Shouting and spitting is not permitted to help stop the spread of germs. However, we recognise that shouting can happen within the world of sport, but please refrain from doing this excessively. It is possible that an individual caught doing this may be removed from activity. During activity, please limit the amount of equipment you use and only use the equipment if it is essential to your session, so that the sharing of equipment is reduced. Please also limit the number of individuals storing the equipment where possible. Your club must still adhere to first aid protocols, which includes having a designated first aider and having first aid equipment readily available. When administering, you must wear a face covering and gloves. When it is a minor injury, only the first aider or someone from the household can treat the individual. Everyone else must maintain appropriate distance. If it is a major injury, normal first aid protocol is necessary. Players, coaches, and spectators must always follow social distancing guidelines. This includes implementing it within competitive training and match play. Drinks breaks, team talks, coaching interventions, and general chat must also adhere to social distancing guidelines. Coaches or leaders should always be alert to anyone displaying symptoms during a session. If symptoms show during the session, that individual should be removed and advised to get tested and follow government guidelines. This should then be reported to the COVID-19 officer to then inform Team Hallam. Depending on the sport and the facility, spectators may be permitted to attend with restrictions in place. Please ensure you are up to date with these guidelines based on the government, the national governing body, and then the facility. You must always adhere to social distancing rules. Once your activity is finished, maintaining good hygiene is important. This includes washing or sanitizing your hands, showering and washing your body, cleaning your clothes. When leaving the venue after your activity is finished, you must immediately leave the area and ensure you are not congregating in communal areas. We have implemented staggered sessions to endorse this. Please ensure you are also wearing a face covering and you are following facility measures, e.g. one-way systems. Transportation restrictions mentioned before also still apply. Once your activity is finished, participants must not touch any equipment, and only those responsible for storing the equipment should handle and collect it. Equipment handover between members must be kept to a minimum and ideally will not happen at all. Your club is responsible for your equipment, however, Team Hallam staff will consider on a case-by-case basis if storing your equipment is not possible. Once you have had sign-ups for your sport, you will need to filter new and existing participants into bubbles. They must stay within these bubbles for the foreseeable future, until filter sessions are able to take place. We recommend filtering these bubbles by establishing the following: ability and motivation, living location, a mixture of new and existing participants to encourage integrations. As clubs, socials are an important aspect of your club identity, but it is essential that you follow government guidelines. Briefly, here's what you can do as a club. Online team meetings such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Facebook. Hold online socials such as quizzes or bingo. Currently, due to university protocols, you are unable to have club organised gatherings, meet socially in person as a club. Team Hallam staff has produced a generic COVID-19 risk assessment. Your club will need to add anything specific to your sport. In order to do this, you will need to first read the risk assessment, then add your sport-specific details, adhere and follow, and then update it if there are any changes to government guidelines. If you would like further information around COVID-19 and how to manage it, then we recommend the following links. If you need to contact Team Hallam staff, please do one of the following. Contact your SDG lead. Contact us via the teamhallam.org website. The details are on the Contact Us tab. Hopefully we have helped you to understand the details of returning to play, and we thank you for your time. Ultimately, we want you to be safe, be back playing with your teammates and enjoying yourselves.